Okay, so I just watched the new Fantastic Four movie, 2015 by Josh Trank. And man, where do I even begin? I am just so glad that Mr. Trank has backed out from directing duties for episode 8 of Star Wars because his new Fantastic Four movie is horrible. You know, I tried watching the movie. Halfway through the movie, I was quietly rooting for the movie that it would turn out okay. After the first hour, I just gave up. I just knew it was gonna suck. Okay, so if you don't want to be spoiled, I'm gonna give out a lot of spoilers. So just watch another one of my videos if you don't want to be spoiled. Fair warning. So I'm gonna tell everything about the movie. First off, let's start with the story. They changed a lot of things. You know, change is always good for me. They changed a lot about the X-Men. They made Wolverine 6 feet tall. I mean, a lot of things changed in the X-Men, but it worked out because the core essence of the characters or the story is the same. Here, they changed a lot, but a lot of the core essence or a lot of the core about what makes Fantastic Four was slightly missing. It was really missing. Okay, story is they're all kids. They get recruited by the father of Johnny Storm and Susan Storm, and they help build the machine that takes them to another dimension. They successfully do it. Four of them go, not Susan, Victor Doom, Reed, Ben Grimm, and Johnny Storm. They all go to that dimension. They come back. They take some radiation with them. And they blast Sue as well because Sue stayed back. She gets radiated as well. It's just so stupid. I mean, it's like a four-shaped cylinder cabin, like a space pod. Ben Grimm gets a lot of rocks inside his cabin. Johnny gets fire. He gets stretched out. She just gets some raid. Victor Doom doesn't go back. He gets left behind in that the place. So they get powers. Then they get stowed away or stored away by the military so that they can develop powers. Reed runs away. The Thing, Johnny, they become weapons for the government. Sue is going to become a weapon. The government decides to build another pod. They go back to that thing, that dimension. They find Victor. Victor comes back with them. Victor becomes evil. He absorbs all the power of that zone. Decides to destroy the Earth so he can transform the Earth into more energy so he can absorb it. And the Fantastic Four as a team, they decide to stop Doctor Doom, and they're successful, and that's it. The movie is overly depressing. And there's nothing heroic, there's nothing triumphant, there's nothing feel good about the movie. The characters were bland as heck. Ironically, what fans hated the most was that Johnny Storm was African American and not Caucasian. Turned out actually pretty. I mean, it wasn't the most horrible thing out there. I actually liked Michael B. Jordan as the Human Torch. It was believable somewhere in another, quite possibly before the Secret Wars, in another universe, the Human Torch would be African American. That's fine, and I think he was one of the best things about the movie. Michael B. Jordan is an awesome Human Torch. Kate Mara as the Invisible Woman. I think she's a brilliant actress. I think she played whatever the character was assigned to her very well, but the character itself sucked. Sue Storm, there was nothing adorable, there was nothing likable, there was nothing lovable about this Sue Storm, except for the fact that she kicked ass. Sue Storm was supposed to be like the Jean Grey Fantastic Four. Instead, this was the Black Widow nerd of the Fantastic Four. There's nothing wrong with that, but it's just so hard to appreciate that because that's not who Sue Storm is. Yeah, Reed Richards was too much of a nerd. He was a nerd, okay, he was too geeky as a nerd. There was no leadership in him. He runs away, doesn't come back for a year? What the hell? Takes him a year? Should have taken him, if he was really that smart, should have taken him like 3 months, 2 months to get back on his feet, build that thing, whatever. Ben Grimm, he was just brooding, morose, and oh man, nothing likable, nothing jolly about him. Doctor Doom, God, that design was so horrible. I never liked it. There was no science explained to how he got the powers or what the powers were. And then, you know, the Fantastic Four is all about science. It's all about it was a nerdy comic book. Like the first two movies were actually great. I actually enjoyed them. I mean, despite what a lot of people are saying about the first two movies, they were actually heck of a lot better than this one because it talked about science. That's what the Fantastic Four were all about. Reed was a nerd. They should be able to stop bad guys through science. They didn't explain about Doctor Doom. Fine. It was left to imagination. I tried to figure out what it was. It was some sort of electro telekinesis, whatever, godlike. Fine. But his motivation was to destroy the Earth so he could have all the power and he'd be alone. That was what he wanted. Doctor Doom loves power, but he wants to be revered as a god. He wants to be all powerful and be worshipped. He can't do that when he's all alone. So, anyway, he tries to suck everything in that dimension. The Fantastic Four gets sucked and they try to stop him. Now, normally you'd think, you know, all right, this is it. I was like expecting, all right, teamwork, let's go, science. They're going to try to stop Doctor Doom. No, they try to stop him one at a time. That's fine. Then the teamwork was, they just found a way to push him literally to that energy zone and destroy him. There was an energy beam Doctor Doom created. It wasn't about outsmarting Doctor Doom, using science to outsmart him. I know I'm hung up about science, but that's how the Fantastic Four were. They used science. There was some truth, scientific truth about it, no matter how incredible the theories were. Like in Star Trek, the theories were incredible, but there was some science to back it up. Here there was absolutely nothing. It was another dimension, and they just worked together to push Doctor Doom. Anybody could have done that. I mean, there was nothing Fantastic Four signature about it. They just worked together. It's like they worked together to dribble the basketball and shoot. I mean, yeah, okay, there's nothing wrong with that, but they're the Fantastic Four. They should have used science. Like, oh, he's made of energy. We have to reduce it. Some highfalutin, corny crap like that. Like, oh, we have to reverse his negative polarity and by pushing him, something like that. Oh, heat changes matter, and then we change it, collapse. Nothing. It was just tried to punch him harder, found a better way to punch him harder, and then throw him into that thing. So the ending was, I think that was the worst scene for me. It was so moronic. And then finally, when they defeat Doctor Doom, they come back home and they talk to the government. The government says, we want to control you. They said, no, I was expecting something heroic, like, we got powers now. We have a bigger responsibility. We got to protect the Earth. We're going to be superheroes now. Something to that effect. No, they just says, want to be left alone so we can do our work. They want to get back to being nerds. There's nothing wrong with being a nerd. I was quite the nerd when I was in high school and college. But you have all these powers. If something great had happened, something big, and what do you decide to do? Oh, we just want to be alone, go to a facility and just work, do our research. Instead of, oh, we want to be something better, a symbol of good, truth, justice, something for people to look forward to feel good about, positive, you know, and just be a force of good for the world. Nothing. They just want to go working. And how they came up with the name Fantastic Four, oh my God. It was so cheesy. Anyway, a little bit. No Stan Lee cameo, even though he was executive producer. I think that says it all about the film. I think I don't know, say whatever he wanted to say, like conflict of schedule, blah, blah, blah. I didn't have time to do a cameo, but I think if I were Stan Lee, I think he probably felt this wasn't even cameo worthy. He was executive producer, but you cannot box with the big guys. I guess Josh Trank may be right. The producers wanted this, that, stifle his artistic, but at the end of it, buck stops with the director. It's your film. You can't you resign if you don't like it. There was no end credits scene. Yeah, I didn't even want to wait till I found out, but there was no end credits. Nothing. And bottom line is, I think this movie lacked a lot of positivity, and Josh Trank seems to focus too much on the bad side of humanity, of how negative the humans can be, how negative life or humanity is. I watched his Chronicle. I enjoyed like 3/4 of the movie until it ended. I think it was such a sad, depressing ending. And again, that is reflected here. He focuses too much on the negative aspect of life and humanity. And I think that it's shown in this movie. This movie was depressing. It wasn't a feel-good movie. I came out of the theater and I was like, oh, Okay, thank God he's not directing Star Wars Episode 8. Sorry for the longish review, but that I feel I knew this movie was gonna suck. I didn't know it was gonna suck this bad. 10% on the Rotten Tomatoes. I have this habit of trying to disprove the critics and trying to root for the movie that people think suck, but this thing's horrible. Don't watch it. Don't waste money on it. Just wait for it on HBO. My review for the new Fantastic Four movie 2015. Thanks for watching.